Bonjour tout le monde, bonjour et bienvenue au cours de français communautaire. Pardon, je m'appelle Monsieur Léo et je suis votre prof de français ce matin. Bonjour, bienvenue. So my name is Monsieur Leo. I'm a French, Mandarin and English teacher for World Languages and I am your French teacher this morning. Bienvenue, bienvenue. I'm very happy to see you here this morning and I'm looking forward to our lesson this morning. So if you can see from the title, we're doing Une Lecture avec Jacques et sa vie. So this lecture is the last lecture that I have planned for this book. We've worked through, from all my lessons that I've done, I planned it as I worked through the whole book together and then we'll move on to another book. So this is the last, about one of the last lectures in the book that we'll work on. Perhaps next lessons we'll go on into doing some grammar, a little bit more grammar before we move on to book numéro 2, the second book, le deuxième livre. Bon. So yeah, so that's kind of nice, you know, it's kind of nice to know that you've completed that. So très bien. Bon, so now let's get started. Before we get started, I always ask two questions. There this. Quelle est la date aujourd'hui? Quelle est la date aujourd'hui? Now we say in French, aujourd'hui c'est da da da. You insert the date. You insert the day of the week. We have lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi et dimanche. So, French start their days on the week on lundi. So they don't start on Sunday like we do. So what they do is they say, so they go lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi et dimanche, just like I did right now. So bon. Now, let's do it today. So we have aujourd'hui, c'est mardi ou jeudi. The reason why I put mardi ou jeudi is because I teach only on Tuesdays and Thursdays here in Community French. So aujourd'hui, c'est jeudi, très bien. Aujourd'hui, c'est jeudi, le 12 novembre 2020. Répétez après moi, s'il vous plaît. Répétez après moi. Aujourd'hui, c'est jeudi, le 12 novembre 2020. Très bien, tout le monde. Aussi, l'autre question que je vous demanderai, c'est ça. Quel temps fait-il? Quel temps fait-il? You could just say il fait, or you could say aujourd'hui il fait. Aujourd'hui il fait gris. Oui, aujourd'hui il fait gris. Il pleut aussi, je pense. Il pleuvra aujourd'hui. It will rain today. Il fait un peu humide. Il fait un peu humide. You know, last night before I was going to bed, it was a little humid for me, so I was like, it was hot, you know, but it wasn't like hot, but it wasn't cold, it was just humid. I don't know. Il y a du brouillard. Est-ce qu'il y a du brouillard? Est-ce qu'il y a du brouillard? Non. Now notice how I started this, I asked you a question by saying est-ce qu'il y a? Très bien. Très bien tout le monde. Now, let's get started with the lesson. Lire ensemble. So, we're going to read this over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. La première fois, I'm going to read it. Je vais lire la lecture moi-même. I'm going to read it myself. La deuxième, we're going to read it, and we're going to take it slow. We're going to translate some words. And then the third time, we're going to translate it all in English without thinking, without from French to English. It's kind of like a trick that you can use in your head. You know, you have to do a certain way. So, bon, let's get going. Bon. Actually, I'll do this one. Bon, so you can see me. That'll be good. You can see how my mouth moves and stuff. So, bon, très bien. So, we're gonna start here. Lecture. Jacques, parle-moi de ta vie et de ton quartier. Lecture. Jacques. So, this is like our little introduction. It's not a part of the lecture. It's just it's giving us the synopsis. Très bien. Jacques, parle-moi de ta vie et de ton quartier. Bon. J'habite à Paris, la capitale de la France. Plus précisément, j'habite tout près de la place Beaubourg. Place Beaubourg, il y a un célèbre musée d'art moderne, le musée Georges Pompidou. Sur la place, on peut voir des sculptures très intéressantes. Les sculptures ont des couleurs différentes et des formes étranges comme des cercles, des rectangles, des carrés, etc. En face du musée, il y a beaucoup de restaurants, de cafés et de boutiques. On trouve aussi une pharmacie et plusieurs banques. C'est une place très touristique, mais beaucoup de Parisiens habitent aussi à place Beaubourg comme moi. Très bien tout le monde. Formidable. Check. Ok, très bien. Non, répétez après moi. Ça, c'est la deuxième étape pour nous. This is the second step when reading a lecture. So, Jacques, parle-moi de ta vie et de ton quartier. So now we're going to be reading it, each sentence, and we're going to translate slowly words that we know. Jacques. So Jacques is a name. Parle-moi. Parler. That's the verb to speak. So speak to me, because we have moi, the stressed pronoun, moi. De ta vie, of your city, a town or city. Et de ton quartier, and of your district, neighborhood. That's how that translates to. J'habite à Paris. I live in Paris. The a, you learn this in other lessons as a means two, but when you're talking about a city, it's always a. But when you're talking about a country, it's sometimes en. So j'habite en France, mais j'habite à Paris. J'habite à Lyon, en France, par exemple. La capitale de la France. The capital of France. Plus précisément, more precisely, j'habite tout près de la place Beaubourg. I live more closely to the Beaubourg place, basically. Place Beaubourg, il y a un célèbre musée d'art moderne. We'll break this part down first. Beaubourg Place, there is, we have il y a, that's a sentence construct, which means there is or there are. There is a famous museum, a famous art, no, I'm going to break, it's kind of hard to translate word from word. There is a famous modern art museum, parce qu'on a un célèbre musée d'art moderne. So we have moderne, d'art, musée célèbre. Le musée Georges Pompidou. This is a famous person in France. I don't think he's still alive. No, he's sur la place, on peut voir des sculptures très intéressantes. There, or at the place, on peut voir des sculptures très intéressantes. At the place, one can see very interesting sculptures. Les sculptures ont des couleurs différentes. The sculptures have different colors. Et des formes étrangères in strange forms, like circles, rectangles, squares, etc. Très bien. En face du musée, Why is it not highlighting? Oh, voilà. En face du musée, in front of the museum, il y a beaucoup de restaurants. There are a lot of restaurants, de cafés, coffee shops, et de boutiques and shops, like stores. Très bien. On trouve aussi une pharmacie et plusieurs banques. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire, une pharmacie? Très bien. It's like in English, pharmacy. On trouve aussi, one can also find a pharmacy at many banks. C'est une place très touristique, mais beaucoup de Parisiens habitent aussi à Place Beaubourg comme moi. Très bien. I've been there. It's very nice. It's a very nice quartier. It's a very nice quartier. Bon, très bien. Now, la troisième étape is just to read it all together in English, word for word. So we're going to go. Jacques, we'll say the name is Jacques because it's kind of, Jacques translates to like John or Jack in English, but we'll just keep it as Jacques just to keep it more French. Jacques, speak to me about your city, town, and of your district. J'habite à, oh sorry, I'm so used to reading French. I live in Paris, the capital of France. More precisely, I live close to the place Beaubourg. I live close to Beaubourg Place. Beaubourg Place, there is a famous modern art museum. The Georges Pompidou Museum, also. At the place, this is different. One can see very interesting sculptures. The sculptures have different colors and strange forms, like circles, rectangles, squares, etc. In front of the museum, there are a lot of restaurants, cafes, and boutiques. One can also find a pharmacy and several banks. It's a place very touristic, but also a lot of but a lot of Parisians live at the place Beaubourg, like me. Oh, that was difficult. I'm so used to reading in French, so it was difficult to flip back and forth. But yeah. Très bien. Oui, so c'est tout, je pense. So lecture. Let's read it one more time, slowly. Jacques, parle-moi de ta vie et de ton quartier. Quartier means like neighborhood district again. J'habite à Paris, la capitale de la France. Plus précisément, j'habite tout près de la place Beaubourg. Place Beaubourg, il y a un célèbre musée d'art moderne, le musée Georges Pompidou. Sur la place, on peut voir des sculptures très intéressantes. Les sculptures ont des couleurs différentes et des formes étranges, comme des cercles, des rectangles, des carrés, etc. En face du musée, il y a beaucoup de restaurants, de cafés et de boutiques. On trouve aussi une pharmacie et plusieurs banques. C'est une place très touristique, mais beaucoup de Parisiens habitent aussi à Place Beaubourg comme moi. Très bien. Très bien. So that's it. That's all. So that's really it I had planned. This is one of the last lectures in the book that we will complete. Lectures are important because they help you learn. They help you learn French. You use many skills. You use the reading skill, you use the speaking skill, and you use the listening skill. Because the reading skill, because you're reading it on the page. The listening skill could be because you're hearing me talk. And then the speaking skill, because I ask you to speak it as well. The goal of these lectures is, if you're at home with 2 people or more, take turns. Take your iPad and pass it around. to each person. That would be the best thing to do, because it's a fun little activity. I always start off by reading it in French, and then I break it down from French to English. I go from word for word, French to English, and then la troisième, I try to translate it all in English without speaking in French. But that's difficult for me because I speak two languages, so it's kind of difficult to not think in French when I'm reading French. That's the thing. Is when you see another language, you think, at least for me, I think in that language. So it's difficult to go back and forth. But oui, très bien. So, très bien tout le monde. Now, that's all I have planned. So please take a look at our website, rollerlang.com. I have it scrolling at the bottom here. We have tons of resources there. We have other community lessons that go live. We also have some children's lessons that go live. Some of my fabulous colleagues, they go live as well. So we would love for you guys to join every lesson. And as always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And either myself or one of my colleagues will answer them. Très bien. Ok. J'espère que vous passerez une bonne journée aujourd'hui. I hope you'll have a great day today. And I will see you le mardi prochain. Au revoir tout le monde.